people that will join us tonight would already have had experience of such challenges. And in the case of people that do not have the experience, this is a public service broadcast just to make the public aware of the kind of challenges that caregivers can encounter a lot of times. Many people will think that those in the UK may not have challenges, but that's not usually true. As much as services are subsidized to a very large extent, I may even say many of them that we pay for are free, we still have a lot of challenges. There are challenges related to finding a good school for your child. There are challenges related to even admitting that your child has challenges. Yes, that's true, because the system is overwhelmed. The system is overwhelmed. So a lot of times they are reluctant to admit that a child should be placed on extra services, not because they are not aware of the challenges, but because the system is already overwhelmed. But when that happens, depending on where you are, depending on who you are dealing with, there are usually a lot of help compared to where we are coming from. So, Frank, thank you for joining us, Frank. If you have any experience around this area, it would be nice to lend in your voice. But the truth remains that a lot of parents are having a lot of challenges. And I'll be speaking from experience between two different locations. And I can authoritatively say that these two locations, as much as their challenges are different, none of it is easier. None of it is easier than the other. It's a public how do I say, public service we are rendering by drawing this attention, drawing attention to these challenges. Because as it stands today, a lot of people who are not familiar with this condition usually don't have any idea of what is going on in the families where the children are either physically or mentally challenged. A lot of people out there are not aware, they have no idea of what is going on. And on so many occasions, just your countenance can actually be painful. Your countenance when you are in touch with people who are actually going through this can make a whole lot of difference. Some people come in when they encounter people in this situation, they display an attitude of ignorance, yes, but an attitude of stigmatization, and that hurts a lot. It hurts a lot because whatever you think you are seeing, the parents have seen it 2 million times over. The parents have gone through it. They go through it like every minute of their lives. Sometimes I ask people, have you imagined that you feel uncomfortable with a particular child who just spends a few minutes, at most 1 hour with you? Have you imagined what someone who spends 24 hours, 7 days, 365 days a week goes through just to support such children? So the first thing we have to start with is that when you find a child, when you come in contact with a child who seem not to be well trained, as a lot of people put it, please understand, it's either the parents are already overwhelmed or the child has a developmental challenge. Yes, it is true, because a lot of times those who may not understand the situation usually refer to it that the child is spoiled, the child is always having their way, the child is not properly trained. But the truth is, a lot of these children are going through a lot of, challenges that they may not even, it's not that they may not even, these challenges are such that they can't even control how they feel. Most times the behavior they display is just a means to request for support. They are just a means. Ray Robbie, thank you for dropping by. This behavior they display are just a way to ask for help. So many occasions it's not what you think or what you believe to see is what is going on with them. So the least you can do is be kind, be empathic, be considerate of those who are in this situation every day of their life, every minute of their life, every second of their life. Be considerate, try and understand that these are individuals who have emotions, who also feel like they deserve better from life. But because of what life has thrown to them, they hardly can, stand up from it. I'm trying to share this so that more people can come in. Tebulade, do you have any insights to throw?
Yes, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Just a good day.
How
So
have
I'd
your
like
day
to
been?
fine, thank you.
Yeah,
So I'd like to talk about two factors as regards this topic on the challenges that caregivers could face
yeah,
while caring for neurodivergent children.
yeah,
So the first one is about the child's schooling, the child's
yes,
educational system, and the
yeah,
second one is about access to adequate healthcare facilities that is suited to
to their needs.
take care of this child's needs. Yes. So regarding the schooling system, we know that neurodivergent children they have special needs.
Yeah,
So that means there's high tendency for them not to be at the same pace as
yes,
their age mates
yeah, their
who are like
counterparts.
the typical years in the
Yeah,
typical category. So for parents or caregivers who live in areas where there are no access to special schools, so they'll be left with no option than to send these children to the regular schools that they have around them. So what happens when these children are not picking up, are not catching up with their counterparts in class? So it starts to bring a matter of comparison, a matter of concern. The parents and the caregivers become concerned that their children are not matching up with their colleagues, or even should I say concerns also being raised from the teachers
yeah, of
that they are
course.
trying their best, they are
Mm-hmm.
giving their best, yet it's as if there is no improvement on the child's part. And this is because that is not necessarily the right environment that
Yes,
is well suited to meet this child's condition.
it's
So
so
ideally there was
true.
a special school with trained teachers that are trained to cater for this type of children, such comparison would not exist. And it's also possible that in these special schools, there are facilities that are tailored to suit their needs,
Yeah,
such that they would not be compared in terms of should I say, the academic milestone that a typical child would have gone through. So there
yes,
could be special things, special, should I say, educational judgments or
plan.
abilities, or
Yes,
what you can measure these neurodivergent children on that will be different from the way you would judge a regular child.
yes,
Can you hear me, ma?
yes, I can hear you clearly. I hear you.
Yes. So the other aspect that I would also like to talk about is, hello?
I can hear you. I hear you,
What's wrong with my network?
but I hear you. Okay, you talked about environment where their academic abilities may not be rightfully catered for, or they can be judged against the neurotypicals. Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, continue then.
Oh, okay. So that's the point I was just trying to raise in
Yeah.
terms of schooling, having a proper educational system that is well suited to meet their needs, such that there will be no unnecessary comparison or tension.
Okay. So I think you've made a
Such that there
very
won't be unnecessary
yes.
okay.
Yes, you've made a very valid point because, okay, for this point, I'll be speaking from point of two points of views. I speak like a professional and I speak like a parent. There's usually a big tension here, especially for the younger ones, the ones that are very young. The parents are still very much, intense, looking for solution, trying to grasp with the situation, working so hard to see if anything can be remedied. So at that point, there is a big conflict between parents and caregivers. The conflict is that the parents are expecting magic. The parents are feeling like, oh my God, once I take them to this school, 2 months, they will just start talking, they will just start doing everything they need to do. In fact, someone just told me that once I do therapy, the child will be fine. And then they take the child to school, and then 2 months, 3 months, and the cost for where these systems are not in place is enormous. So they pay the cost 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 7 months, 1 year, and it doesn't seem to be changing, and it becomes a problem. I know parents that will keep sacking and renewing and, bringing in and removing therapists because they feel they are not doing a good job. So it's a very dicey situation whereby parents are under pressure to give their child the best, to see their child excelling. The therapists are under pressure from the parents to do magic. Because as far as I'm concerned, a lot of times the parents are just, what the parents are expecting is pure magic, and it's usually not so. So this challenge is something that, almost every parent go through, every caregiver, every parent of a child with special needs go through. Those with physical disability like cerebral palsy, they believe that once their child is doing therapy twice a week or 3 times a week, in the next 3 months the child will start walking. A lot of times it doesn't happen like that. So the caregivers, from the point of maybe facilitators and therapists, and the caregivers from the point of parents, it's not easy on any of them. It's not easy
At
because,
all.
yes, this one is so hopeful. You sleep and wake. In fact, a lot of times you go to bed believing that you wake up and this whole nightmare is over. That you just go to your child's room and then your child is like, oh, mommy, where have you been? I'm serious. A lot of parents think that way. I'd say I'm not saying I don't believe in miracle. It happens, but in a few cases. But a lot of times, even those that happen to get improvement, it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen the way the parents are wishing for it to happen. But one thing that caregivers have not attuned themselves with, especially parents, is that healing, no matter how small or no matter how big, has to start from the parents. It has to start from you, who, it's like the parents are like their mirrors. if you come home with a negative energy and get into the house, believe me, your child will immediately start acting up. They will either get hyperactive or get lethargic or just get stressed, because it's like, because I don't know if it's because they are non-verbal, it's as if the caregiver's energy reflects on them. So the point is, as a caregiver, it is not easy, not at all, from any angle you look at it, but your energy kind of resonates around the child. When you are stressed as a caregiver, the child becomes stressed automatically. So what happens in most cases is that those early years, when the parents are very, bent on finding solution like today, tomorrow, the child is also reading that vibe, that stressful vibe, because it can be really stressful. You are on your laptop or your phone researching every possible solution. Even the child you are looking for solution comes near you and they're like, I leave me, I need to finish this. In fact, even the time you will use to start, even the time you will use to start, building connection, strategizing on how to activate, to make the environment active for them to key in, you are there researching, looking, all the symptoms of autism, whether they are displaying this or displaying that, and they are there.
Yeah.
Where is the best place for solution? You'll be like, what is the fastest cure for autism? And Mr. Google will always give you something, because people are always
I have a
advertising.
question there. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
please. Yes, I ask. Temilade?
Hello?
Yeah, you said you have a question.
Hello?
Yes, you said you have a question.
Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, go
Okay, so I
ahead.
wanted to ask that as a professional, how do you perceive this? A situation whereby, now I'm talking in terms of educational facilities, a
Yes.
situation whereby a school is made to incorporate both special needs children and typical children in the same class. What do you think about that? Do you think there should be like a different school for them or a different class for them? Because recently I actually saw an initiative like that coming up in one of the states in Nigeria, whereby they would both be incorporated into the same school. So I'm just thinking that would that be the best idea, or could it be that the teachers who will be teaching these both categories of children, probably they must have been well trained to attend to the needs of both children, but and I'm also thinking that maybe the reason why they are combining them together is to maybe avoid any form of discrimination and all of that. But on another hand, I'm also thinking that they would need special attention, special care, such that maybe having a designated class for them would give chance for that. Or what do you think about it?
Okay, I've been in this journey for so long to say that I have seen those scenarios. Let me just give you an example. I'll finish this story and then I'll tell you. A lot of times we've seen children that when they are put in special school, they tend to get
Okay.
worse.
They tend to get,
Worse.
oh,
Yes,
okay.
their behavior becomes worse. You begin to see
Mm,
like certain behaviors they were not doing before, they start doing it. Like
mm,
you can see a child that were not doing this, that's not steaming, and then when they go to special school, they start.
mm,
That is one part of the
mm,
story. But there are children that if you put them in special school, they get better. You see them excelling, blossoming.
mm.
Now, what the challenge is that there has to be an assessment. Each child is assessed based on their needs and abilities. So the needs is how severe is the condition? What are the things they can do for themselves? What are their strengths and their weaknesses? So usually these needs are done, and there is what we call here they call it educational healthcare plan. So in that educational healthcare plan, they will list all the areas that that child needs support, all the areas that that child can excel and do well, and then they list future plans. What are the things they want to achieve with that child? So by the time they assess all this, and if the child's needs is profound, they will most likely refer the child to a special school, meaning that that child cannot get the right support in a mainstream school. So if a child's need is such that they can't communicate, they can't bear to listen to noise, they can't bear any form of playing with other children, they can go into severe meltdown that will bring the roof down, they can't participate in any event without a guide, it means that child being in a mainstream will be detrimental to that child because they cannot support the child. They will not be able to offer that child that kind of support. That is one. Another scenario is that a child is not severe. The child can communicate, the child can follow instruction to an extent, the child is able to, conscious of his or her environment. Yes, the child can even participate in educational and academic activity with a certain level of understanding. So such a child can be in an inclusive environment, but will still have an educational healthcare plan, or we call it individualized educational plan in Nigeria, IEP, individualized educational plan. So if such child is like that and is able to participate in activities and every form of collective activity without extra support, they can recommend that that child remains in the mainstream school. But there is another scenario, which was what we were practicing in Nigeria, is that if you feel that your child needs extra support in school, you may not be able to practice that here because to a large extent, everything is borne by the government. But what we're doing is that if you believe your child needs extra support, but the school is not supplying it, you can employ somebody who will now be acting as a facilitator, as a shadow, which means that person will be going to school with that child. That person will be in school and be like a shadow, you understand? If the child, anywhere that the child is needing an extra support, that person steps in. Anywhere that the child is requiring extra support or struggling, that shadow, that facilitator will step in.
Like a private teacher kind of thing.
Yes, it's not a teacher, it's a facilitator. It's not like a teacher as if it's a teacher, but they still teach. They teach in such a way that if the class is doing something like adjectives, the school will print a different kind of material for the child that is not academically sound to join the class. So assuming the school is learning about big and small, there will be a material where they will draw big ball and small ball. Assuming the school is learning about adjectives, for instance. So for that child, it's not for you to go and be asking him to describe a rolling boat with an adjective. No. You will be teaching the same adjective, but in a way that they will understand. it
in
will
a
be
simpler
broken down.
form.
Yes,
Yeah.
it will be broken down to drawing a big ball and a small ball,
Yeah. They'll
or
come down
drawing,
to their
yes,
level.
or drawing a green car and a yellow car, and then you say
Yeah. Yeah.
describe this car, and then you be like, this car is blue, this car is green,
Mm.
this ball is big,
Mm.
this ball is small. And in most cases
Okay.
they have to have their own material separately. So those are the three. I
Mm.
have already presented three scenarios. Then there is
Mm.
a fourth scenario where we call inclusive schools. Inclusive
Okay.
schools is that the school is a mainstream school, but they have a robust department that can cater for the
Okay.
needs of children with extra needs. Let's say, for
Needs. Okay.
instance, there's a child with severe, maybe not severe, moderate, moderate to severe autism, for instance. They have like a department where they have things like sensory rooms, they have like therapy rooms, they have like
Mm.
everything that is maybe in a special school, a lot of things that are in a
Yeah.
special school, but it is just a department in a mainstream school.
Mm-hmm.
So the child goes to
Mm.
that school wearing the uniform and going everywhere, but they know they will be going to that special department. Then from that
Mm.
special department, they have personal tutors, like teachers that are supplied by the school. These are usually not
Mm-hmm.
qualified teachers, they are just like support teachers. So
Mm-hmm.
those support teachers will take them to class when they are having a class that they can cope with. Okay, let's say the child is not so good in English, but they are good in maths. So when the timetable is English in the child's class, that personal teacher will be teaching that child English in that therapy room. Meanwhile, the other class is learning English in the larger class. But when it is maths, because the child is very good in maths, that her therapist or his
Mm.
therapist will take him to the mainstream class, to the normal class,
To the general maths
here to the
class.
general class. Usually,
Mm.
many of these children are good in maths, and things like health and physical education, and many of them are also good in things like computer science, like robotics and computer, and things like fine art and things like music. So sometimes you realize that that special child will only join his class, as if assuming the child is in primary 3. So when it is time for HPE in primary 3D, and that child is in primary 3D, the therapist will take that child to that class. So while they are in that class, the therapist will either sit in the class, or depending on the level of independence, the therapist may just hang around the class. He will still be like aware that he has a child, but he wouldn't want to sit so that the child will not be too dependent on them. But if anything
On
arises, if any issue arises in terms of not being attentive, or being hyperactive, or not being not completing tasks, the therapist would step in. This one can even go on up to college. They do it here even for children that are already in college. Like college, I mean, they are finished secondary school, they are in higher education.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they call them teaching support. So sometimes
Mm.
at that stage, the child already chooses what to do. Some of them, you go to sit with them, they say, no, 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 I don't want you to sit with me. You will just pretend that you are supporting the teacher. Meanwhile, you and the teacher know the person you are supporting. So you will just be walking around the class
Yeah.
and be telling everybody, I hope your work is fine. Oh, do you need any support? No, everybody will be like, no. And then you will go and be like, oh, I like what you're doing. How did you derive this? And you just be talking to everybody just to make sure that that person is not feeling like they are the only one you are
Yeah.
talking to.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Paying attention to. Yeah.
Yes, some
So it
of
just
them.
depends on each child's
Yes, it
needs
depends on the needs
in
of
order
a
to fall
particular
into
child.
this category.
Exactly. So usually there is a very extensive assessment. This assessment can even take up to 6 months because education will be assessed, health will be assessed. There will be a pediatrician, there will be educational psychologists, there will be teachers involved, there will be parents involved, there will be counsel involved because the counsel has to know the extent of the need for them to know how much that's going to be budgeted for the child support. So
Exactly.
yes, everything will be assessed. They will look at so many areas of the child. Megan, thank you for joining us. So they will look at so many areas, the health needs of the child, the educational needs of the child, the environmental needs of the child. Because sometimes there might be some things that need to be modified. Let's say a child
Exactly.
that is on wheelchair, things have to be modified. If the school is such that they don't have wheelchair access, which is, by the way, becoming a law now that public places should be made accessible. So there has to be so many modifications. So this assessment takes long time and very, very inclusive. You will be going to hospital to check, you will be going to educational psychologists will be coming to school to know the level of you know academic that the child is in. The parents will be filling a lot of forms, the teachers will be filling a lot of forms. You will feel tired, but at the end of the day they will use all those information and draw what they call educational healthcare plan. So in that educational healthcare plan, they will talk about where the child is coming from, they will talk about where the child is now, and they will set targets for where they want the child to be in a certain time. So they used to carry out the reviews every term, but usually the targets are like, let's say in they have short-term targets, long-term targets, and lifetime targets. So in short-term targets, they are saying by the end of this term, so child would have been able to do so things. And then the long term is that by the end of end of 5 years, this child would have been able to do this thing. And then they will ask you, the mother or the child, if they can talk, what do you want to be doing by the end of so length of time? Sometimes it's the parents that say, oh, I just want my child to be independent. I just want my child to be
Yeah.
able to have a bath. I just want my child to be able, Tango 84, thank you. I just want my child to be able to, to be alive. Yes.
Actually, in fact, you saying all of this, like, it just, I really wish all children with special needs could have the best, should I say, access to the facilities needed to cater for their needs. Like,
Yes.
it's a wish because actually there's a huge disparity, huge gap between where you are currently, the facilities, resources available, and comparing it with far remote places here in Nigeria that do not even have access to these things, yet there are special needs children in those places. So
Exactly.
so that means those people, they just have to make do with whatever they have, and just have to keep hopes alive, because what can they do? Some of them live very, very far from places that have a little of these facilities,
Some of
compared
them,
to,
yeah, tell me.
yeah. So it's just a whole lot. It is well.
Some of them don't even have access to basic education, let alone the one that support
Definitely.
their needs.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Let alone the one that supports their need. But the good thing is, it's good to know, because a lot of times people don't even have an idea of what they need. And
Mm,
if you touch such parents, all they want is that let their child be even just going to school. But a major challenge
mhm.
is, a major challenge is a subtle stigma, like hidden stigma. They will make you feel like there's no stigmatization, but believe me, there is.
Of course, there is.
There is, especially in third world country. People still believe
Of
that these
course.
things are not natural. Why should
Yeah.
a child be like this? So I was on a program last Sunday, and they were discussing about in the olden days, why would what are the reasons that a family would not want another family to marry their children. That was what they were
Mm,
discussing, which was their own topic. But you realize that people at this point are still saying that maybe because they have special needs child, that
mm,
they would not be happy for their children to marry from a family with a special need child.
mm.
So
Because of fear of maybe
yes,
genetic predisposition or stuff like
yes,
that.
I personally do not blame anybody for how they choose to reason, but the
Mm,
truth is, I don't even know what to say, because those fears, as much as it seems genuine, is also very stigmatizing. It's
mm,
very, very stigmatizing. And the tendency is that the way these things are going, in the next 20 years, there will be no family that doesn't have a trace of special needs. I'm telling you,
mm,
the way it is going, in the next 10 to 20 years, there's no family that wouldn't have had a trace. Because if it is not directly, you will hear that maybe one of their sisters
mm.
somewhere, or maybe one of their cousins somewhere gave
You
birth.
feel it's getting common, right?
Very,
The
very,
incidents.
very, very
Mm,
is spreading like wildfire. The reason is still unknown, but the only prayer that we have is let a solution come.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, but just because the cause is still not even known fully, how do you start looking for a solution to something you don't even know the cause? Because it's when you find the cause, then you now say, okay, let me cut it from that root. Even though a lot of strategies are coming up where people are looking at reducing inflammation, detoxification, gut health, and all of that, there is still no stamped solution. There is still no, you know, nothing you can say, okay, this is when I do this, it goes away.
mm. I get you. I get you.
Yeah. So as it is now, the challenges are enormous. Is it in this our life on your phone?
It's my phone. Oh, I've put it off.
Okay. So I don't know who this person is. Thank you for joining us, but I'm trying to decipher. So a lot of caregivers are going through a lot of challenges that are painful, if I may say,
Yeah,
because on a
they
very
are.
large
They are.
scale, those who are not aware of what it is would always attribute it to failure, parental failure. And anybody who is a
Especially,
parent.
the parents, especially the mothers, they even start, should I say, blaming themselves, trying to trace
Exactly,
where it
exactly.
originated from. They start blaming themselves. Did they do something during pregnancy? Did they go somewhere and all of that? And it can bring a lot of, should I say, emotional, um should I say, baggage on these
Yes,
mothers, such that they feel
yes,
bad and all of that, just due to pressure from the environment and a lot more.
yes. Sometimes it's even from their own spouse. Sometimes it's from themselves. Some parents will just decide that they are the cause of this and start,
Mm-hmm.
blaming themselves, being mean to themselves, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but sometimes it's the spouse, it's the other way around. The spouse is like, I don't know where you got this child from. Are you sure I impregnated you? They start looking for,
Exactly.
evidence of not being the parent. Sometimes it comes from
And it's so
extended
so sad.
families. Yeah, sometimes it comes from extended families. They talk either in your face or at your back, but the talk really exactly goes on, especially when it is the first time in the big family, when it is the first, profound time in the bigger
Yeah.
family. It's always a big issue. Everyone is saying, where is this
Yeah.
coming from? We've never had this in our family. And it
Exactly.
can be a lot of pressure. And
Yeah.
this has been known to be like a pattern. The pattern is that, first of all, when they find out that there's something wrong with the child, the mother will know. The father will also know. But it's the mother that will go to the father. In fact, they will pretend that they don't know until maybe an aunt or an in-law or someone comes to the house, or granny comes to the house and be like, I am seeing things in this child that is not so okay. Oh. The next thing, if the person is from the father side, when the person goes home, the mother will be like, you see what your people are trying to talk about my child.
Mm-hmm.
Then if the person is from the woman side, when the person leaves, the dad will be like, can you imagine what are your people trying to say about my child? Why wouldn't they just keep it to themselves? And then there is this denial. They will
Yeah.
both feel like nothing is happening to our child. And
Yeah.
then as time goes on, the mother will really tell the father, look, I think there is something wrong. This child is not doing this child is not doing that. And then the father is saying, don't you ever bring that thing near my child. What is
Mm-hmm.
even that thing? Nobody knows
They are
that thing.
so getting it.
Uh-huh. And they'll be like, nobody ever has that in my family. And before you
Yeah.
know it, you start hearing, well, is that your great grand uncle? They said was this. Maybe it's
Mm.
coming from your family. That stage is called, the first one was the denial stage. They
Yeah.
denied it. This stage is called blame game. At this
Mm-hmm.
stage, they abuse the blaming each other. What
Yeah.
happened? How did it not happen? And blaming themselves. The mother will
Who is
start
at fault? Who caused
uh,
what? Who
the
did
mother
what?
will start thinking of, could it be one day that I was going to market and one woman looked at me? Could it
You so
be
much get this.
could it be one day that I was eating amala inside market and a woman was spitting by the side? Could
There's
it
different kinds of
be
superstitions.
could it be one day we went to antenatal? Or could it even be this relative that started talking about it? That without even anything, you just start asking me what is wrong with my child. And then that one will go. And when all these things are happening, the child is still growing. Then after the blame game comes a little bit
Acceptance.
of acceptance. A little bit of acceptance. Because by then, the child probably has started school. And then the teacher is like, Mommy Pelumi, abeg o, there's something I want to tell you. Pelumi seem not to be sitting quiet in class. We have done everything we can. She keeps running around and jumping and shouting. Every other child can sit, but she just cannot sit. The mother will be like, are you sure you have done everything you can do? Say yes. Are you sure it's not that your class that is making her uncomfortable? The teacher will be like, but there are more than 20 children in this class now, and she's the only one that is uncomfortable. We try to make her safe. And then the mother will now go home and say, even the teacher has started complaining. And that's when the school will now call and say, there's something we want to discuss with you. We know so and so places you can go and look for help. They will know what to do. And then the parents will come home. And
Actually, to be sincere, it's not easy to actually accept though.
it's
So
not. I'm telling you the process.
that denial phase is just very, very valid. It's something that almost anyone would
Deny.
experience,
Would want
because
to
you
deny.
wouldn't just want to accept that something is wrong with your child. You would still be trying to like reason out things and
Yeah.
get. So it's expected.
You want to give hope a chance.
Exactly.
You want to give. And now if you are like the spiritual person, you
Exactly.
begin to,
Prayers and all.
yeah, you
And
begin
trusting
to,
God for it. And to be sincere, it works. It works.
it works. Yes,
it makes things better. Yeah.
it makes
Prayer
things
works.
better because it offers you hope.
Yeah.
And you know, hope can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
So when you have that hope that all hope is not lost, that something can be done. But where I usually would blame some parents is that so many parents, anyway, a lot of parents are getting wiser these days. So many parents would usually just linger on that hope of that miracle and not seek practical solutions, forgetting that even the people that are offering practical solutions were given insight by God to use and help his people. They are still part of the miracle. The practical solutions are very, very intricate part of the miracle. Because even when Christ was alive on earth, sometimes he doesn't just say, get up and walk. There are people he healed by spitting on sand and rubbing on their face. There are people he healed by asking them to go and show themselves to the priest. And there are people he healed by saying, get up and walk.
Yeah.
So it is left for you to decipher if how God would want to heal your own child. Everybody wants to be healed by that method of get up and walk. But sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes your own child would need a touch. Your own child would need an input from the physical.
It could be a gradual process.
Yes. Sometimes your own child might need an input from the physical to make the supernatural, take place. Sometimes
Okay.
Yeah, tell me.
Oh, I just to even share a little story concerning this gradual process of healing of someone close to me.
Yes.
On the on the neurodivergent spectrum also.
Yes.
So it took a while before he could walk.
Yes.
Usually children start walking when they are close to a year.
Yes.
Around that age, they start trying to walk and all of that. So for over a year, he could not walk. He was just rolling. Over 2 years, he could not walk. 3 years, he could not walk. Can you believe that at 3 years and 11 months, when he was about 4 years,
Yes.
that was when he finally started to walk.
Imagine.
Like a case like that, all hope was just almost lost.
Lost. Yes.
We just kept on asking God for help with prayers, trusting God that there will be a change, keeping hopes alive. And eventually he walked. So that's like a miracle.
Yes, which still did not remove the miracle from it.
That's a miracle. Imagine a child did not walk at 1 year, did not walk at 2 years, did not walk at 3 years. Like a lot of people would have thought the child is already like done for and all of that.
Yes.
But the child eventually walked. The child even could not even like, should I say, speak initially. It was just like speak intelligently, was just muttering words, muttering sounds. But eventually, gradually, there were changes and all of that. So it just shows that there is hope, and whoever is listening to this who might be going through one thing or the other related to this, just keep hopes alive and trust God that there is nothing that God cannot do. That's just it.
There was a child on the autism spectrum that did not speak until he was 11, but today he's an associate professor in his school.
Can you imagine?
At is it 35 or be 34?
He didn't speak until he was 11 years.
Yes.
Wow.
And today he's an associate professor.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes. So, and that's what, there was a parent, I had a consultation over the week, and this parent was asking me that what will happen, and I'm like, look, we cannot predict.
That's
With
the thing.
them,
Parents want answers.
with them is limitless. Like the sky cannot contain what any of them can become. And it can be like this. It can be like this. It can be like this. Yes. Some children, you will see them, they will do so well this month. Next month, it's as if they have fallen from sky. In another 2 months, they are so good that you will be like, was it this person? You know? So it can be anyhow. It can be anyhow. The only target is to find out how your own child thrives. How do they thrive? And help and support them in their low moments. Because like we said in the beginning of this program, they are like reflection. Oh, thank you, Angie. Thank you so much. So they are like reflection of you. When you are doing great in terms of emotion and countenance, they reflect it. So the major thing to that parents and caregivers should learn is to have it in mind that you are going through a lot, that is appreciated, but have it at the back of your mind that you are a reflection of this child. If you are healing, the child is healing. If you are stuck, the child is stuck. Whatever you are doing, the child, reflects you. Around the same time that a parent would want to, get herself killed or died because of a child situation. Do you know that?
Because it can be so frustrating.
Yes, a particular parent was so frustrated that he had both high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, everything together, and immediately she died. It's as if the child resurrected. Because I'm not saying she was the cause of anything, but the truth is that the mom's energy was dragging this child. The mom's energy. The mom was so frustrated. I'm not saying parents should not invest in their children. Invest, I mean emotional investment. in the sense that some parents used to feel like they have become useless just because their child is not doing well.
Yeah.
Some parents will feel like, I have not achieved anything in life, I am of no use to the world. In fact, there's nothing I'm doing here. Even when I cannot get my own child to be as good as others in your mind, then there's no point me being here. Yes, you may not buy yourself, but you will just see it written all over their face, written all over how they behave. They behave like the whole world has come to an end. What is the verification about? These people are very good. So a lot of parents behave like something, sorry, they are just wanting to send image to verify that it's here, but the image is not loading and the life is ending. Anyway, is it not my fault? All right, people. The life is saying that I'm inactive. Can you imagine? How do they determine who is inactive? All right, so what we are saying is that a lot of parents tend to feel that they are of no use just because their child isn't, measuring up to their own expectations. So tonight we are saying the fact that that child may not come across as what the picture you painted of your child is. Do not forget that the potentials are there and your healing is their healing. By the time you begin to look inwards and appreciate how far you have come, appreciate all the effort you are putting in, it would reflect on the child's progress too. Many children that their parents are positive have the higher tendency of faster improvement. When parents are positive, the child tends to improve better. So keep it positive, keep it, keep the hope alive. When you have hope, don't act like you don't. Keep the hope alive, believe in better days. Whether it is by church or faith or what you worship, it doesn't have to be that way. It has to be that you want to trust the process. And what's the process? The process is that as you continue investing in them, in terms of therapies, in terms of support, in terms of everything you do, those investments will continue to pay. Those investments will continue to show. Those investments will continue to manifest in a way of improvement, in a way of increase in independence, if that is what you are targeting. Whatever you are targeting for your child, your investment will continue to show. And one thing I've seen in my practice is that a lot of times a child's improvement is commensurate to the effort that is made by the parents. That is one. That is when other factors are not working against the child. I think this should be like a topic of another day, because a lot of children may have other factors working against them. Let's say, for instance, age. Let's say, for instance, gender. Let's say, for instance, severity. Sometimes children that are severely autistic may find it more difficult to respond positively to this is So sometimes the severity of the situation may determine the extent of response to intervention. I don't know what's going on. It wants to verify that I'm here, but the image is not loading. So, ladies, gentlemen, people at the other end. So this did not end. Okay. Thanks anyway. All right. I don't know where. So what we are saying is that as a caregiver, it's important to keep a positive attitude, positive outlook, positive, demeanor. Be positive so that the child you support may also feel it and, harvest that energy and thrive better. It's been an hour since I've been seated here, and I sincerely appreciate that you dropped by. Tonight has been a good one where we discussed things like challenges, academic and environmental challenges. Thank you so much for coming by. These other people did not let me. Oh, Temilade, you're here. Hello, Temilade.
I guess the network is sending us.
You know what
I
happened?
guess the network is telling us good night already.
Like seriously, what happened was that that thing that they will show you that you are inactive.
Okay.
And then it show, okay, maybe you don't know. There is something that sometimes they will say that because you are not active, they are showing. How can I not be active? And I'm talking and I'm liking and I'm responding. But they said I was not active, and then the image that I was supposed to click and prove that I'm active was not loading. And then when it was 4 minutes, they just logged me off. So
network is just, even on my end, network is messing up like big time. It's been kicking me out.
Yeah.
I guess we've said a lot tonight.
Yeah, it's saying that the discussion has been long enough to call it a day. All right. Just to give our viewers a taste of what might come next time, we are working very closely with people who are promoting some very healthy products that will help people in our community. And hopefully in our subsequent lives, we'll be talking about these products, how they can support these children, and how they will be used. So we don't just like talk randomly about stuff, but when you teach people about things, the next step is to give them solution.
Actually,
And we'll be talking so much about products, what they do, how they can be used, and so that people can benefit from them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That was an interesting one.
It's been a wonderful evening. Yes.
It was more of an emotional one also.
Yeah. It's emotional as much as it is educative. It's more like sharing, because what happens is that a lot of parents initially, when they are struggling in that denial and blame game,
Yeah.
it looks like all hope is lost. They are so,
Yeah.
stranded, so desperate, so, and Kai,
But all hope is not lost.
yeah, all
Once
hope
there
is
is
not
life,
lost.
once there is life, there is hope.
And recently, I'm seeing a lot of parents approaching me early. I have a client that the child is as young as 2 years, and I'm so happy for them. Number one is that they are starting early, and number two is that they even have where to go. During our own time, even if you think something is wrong with your
Exactly.
child, you don't even know who to tell. You don't even know where to go. Like I've said here severally, you go to hospital and they are even making fun of you. So it is such a good thing that now when your child is young, I'm just encouraging people that no matter how young your child is, as soon as you realize that something is not right, start looking for help. Start looking for help, because it can make the whole difference. The how early you started can make a whole difference on the outcome. Sometimes you might think some hospitals will still tell you that, oh, the child is too young, you should wait until. Don't wait. Oh, if it is that if it is those drama people, they say run. Oh, if if you recognize that your child has a problem, if anybody tell you to wait, run. Oh, don't wait, don't wait. Look for help anywhere, anyhow. Just move. Find help, find help.
The right professional help. Yeah.
Yes. Thank God there are lots of places. I'm not saying all the places are equally good, but before you know
Yeah.
it, yeah, just start something. Start something and watch your child blossom. If you feel that you're not getting result here, look for better help. I believe that once you already align yourself with that system, you will continue to find the best help as you continue going. So thank you so much, everyone. It's been a wonderful evening. Temilade, thank you for being a good company. And
Thank you too for
yeah,
hosting us tonight.
do have a lovely weekend.
Maybe you would host us physically one day.
You know, right? I hosted in Nigeria just how many months ago?
Oh,
Yeah, it was a good one. But
that's nice.
we have to talk about our webinar. Our
Yeah.
webinar that is slated for August. It's going to be free. Everybody is free to attend. We will be posting, in fact, from our next meeting, Temilade will be using our flyer as our backdrop.
All right, no problem.
We'll
To
be
be ready
using,
before then.
yes, we'll be using our flyer as our backdrop, so that people will know that we are planning something big where we will share a whole lot of knowledge that will help
Yeah.
people to navigate through their challenges one day at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so
Uh,
much. You might think this what we are doing is not yielding results, but I tell you, if you know the amount of people that keep contacting me,
that reach out.
you will be surprised. You'll be like, what? You'll be as if you are just talking to yourself, but people are listening. It's
Yeah.
amazing what happens. Even this last week, immediately we dropped, a man messaged me that thank you again for such an insightful session, and I did not see him on the live.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, and I did not see him. And I was almost tempted to say, where were you? How did you hear that it was so insightful? But then that is internet for you.
Yeah, that's the power of the internet.
Yes. So even if we don't have 101 million viewers at the same time, I know that the impact is big. People are
Yeah.
listening, and people,
Definitely.
yeah, and people are watching. So wherever you are, if it's now you're seeing it, if it's later you're seeing it, if it's someday you stumble on it, here, caregiving to special needs children is not a small job. If you see one, just be kind.
Show love.
As much as possible, don't add to their stress. They are already
Totally.
at the edge of their, you know what is the elastic band. Their elastic band has reached the edge like this. If you want to know what they are going through, you can watch Straw. Is it Straw, right? By Tyler Perry. Have you watched that?
Sure. No, I haven't.
Straw. Oh, the name is Straw. Let me just give you a recap of what it is. This lady has a special need child, and
Okay.
the movie started that he woke up in the morning, she made breakfast for the baby, and she left the house with the baby, and her landlady was shouting at her that if she doesn't pay rent that day, she was going to throw her stuff out. And this
Okay.
lady went to school and dropped her daughter and went to work. So while she
Okay.
was at work, her boss was shouting at her that she hasn't been attentive at work and all those things.
Pressure here and there.
Yes, and then she decided that she got a call from the school. So the daughter was telling her that they have been calling her names in school, that she eats a free meal, that she needs, is
Ooh.
it £4, $4 to, is it four or be $14 to pay for meal, for proper
Okay.
meal. So she received the call in the office that day that she would have to come and is it that they need her attention in school. So on getting to the school, she was told that government is going to take the child, that because the child is not
Wow.
well taken care of. She
Wow.
was pleading and crying, and then she had only 30 minutes to return to office. So on her way back to office, she hit a car, and the car she
Oh.
hit was a police officer, and the police officer hit her back and seized her vehicle and gave her a ticket. She went back to the office, and the manager refused to give her paycheck. And so while she was in the room, armed robbers came in. So the armed
Oh. Oh.
robber shot the manager, and somehow she picked
Ooh.
the armed robber's weapon and spied the armed robber. And in the midst
Wow.
of all those things, she was able to just pick her check and ran to the bank. So when she got to the bank, the blood and everything and the weapon, the bank called the police that there was a robbery, and
Okay.
everybody came home that the woman was the thief. And that was how they staged everything. Now they put all the
Like
Omotoke,
against her.
Omotoke, welcome. We were already actually rounding up, so we are just telling a story. So we are
So they
telling the
framed it
story
up.
of
They
Straw.
framed her up.
Yeah, Omotoke. She's a friend. She's here. Okay,
Okay,
so
welcome.
that's how everything happened. Do you know that all these things, the baby had died the previous day?
What?
Yes, all the things she was doing was
Wow.
imaginary. The trauma
Wow.
was so much that she couldn't separate reality from imagination.
From hallucination. Wow.
So in
Wow.
her mind, she was just doing her daily routine of feeding her baby, taking her to school,
Wow.
and going to work. But the other things were real, like the stress at work, the hitting of a car, and all of these things were
Wow.
just building up her tension
That
and
messed up
building up.
her mind.
And that was it. Like she just snapped. between reality
That's so
and
serious.
pressure.
That's serious.
So
That
any
shows how pressure could affect one. Pressure
yes,
of the mind.
yeah. Jackie Hard VI, thank you for joining us. We were already kind of rounding up. Thank you for dropping by. Kimbo Valekas, thank you. So when you see a parent with a special need child, please be kind. The only issue, the only challenge here is that it's usually not written on the face until they tell you. It's usually not written on the face. But if you
If one is
happen,
sensitive, one can even pick it up.
it's difficult to pick it up, especially in a world where everybody have their own wahala.
Where everyone is facing their own
Yes,
business.
believe me, if you don't have a child with special need, you still have problems. It doesn't mean you don't have your own problems. So,
Or daily life
yeah,
challenges.
yeah, life challenges are enormous. It could be anything else. It could be someone going through divorce. It could be someone whose child passed, actually. It could be someone whose spouse passed. It could be someone who's in an abusive relationship. It could be anything. It could be abject poverty. It could be, people are going through a lot. But in this case, it feels like an extra layer of concern.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good that, because believe me, with that special child, these other things are still happening. Imagine this lady, even if that child was alive, she would still be going through all these normal things. Like all these things are still happening to her. So
Yeah.
this other one is like an extra. It's hard enough to have a child and still need to buy food and still need to pay rent and still need to. Then there's this extra one. This one is usually like a layer. It's hard enough that you are trying to train a child, and then this child is having an extra, baggage that you have to take care of. So, like I said, everyone has a challenge, but this is like an extra. And this is not like making light of what every other person is going through, but saying that a lot is going on in people's lives, even when you don't seem to see it, but it's happening. Just be kind to people. You never can tell what they are going through. That should be the right word. You never can tell what people are going through. Just be kind. People you meet, be as kind as possible. Just imagine that something is going on and be kind. So, thanks everyone. It's been a wonderful evening again. Looks like I don't want to go today, Temilade. We didn't start early anyway. We didn't start early. But yes, have a
I
good
guess
evening.
it was a very engaging session tonight.
Yeah, it was engaging. It was engaging and interesting topic though.
Yes.
Interesting.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah. Enjoy your evening.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Enjoy your Sunday.
Yeah, it's already almost a few minutes to Sunday. Enjoy yours. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Good night.
Night night. Thank you everyone on YouTube. It's been a good evening. We highlighted the challenges and yeah, how it can be really challenging. See you again on Tuesday. Don't forget to join us. Bye bye.